Hey guys, so today is going to be a special episode to talk about the concept and the lyrics of the album. I think this is quite important because obviously we kind of tend to do always concept albums, and this one is a bit special for me. And it's kind of like we already had from like as I'm speaking now, we already got few reviews about it, and some people don't really understand the concept, or it's not really clear, let's say. Although there's an introduction of it, the first track called Truewaves is actually John Mitchell explaining what Truewaves are, and then in each song it would be a true wave basically in the song. But I kind of like didn't want to make it so obvious purposefully. Just because I'm kind of talking about a lot of personal stuff on this album. It's actually the most personal stuff I've ever done. And then before I start talking about the songs and stuff, there's one thing that's quite important for me is so like when you get the CD, and then so you take the CD out, underneath here there's just a little line which says concept and words provide a place to hide. This is dedicated to my true waves. So basically, that's kind of what I always do. I like creating concepts and stuff, but very often I create those concepts to talk about personal stuff that aren't actually that obvious. They don't really come across in the lyrics or stuff. That's kind of purpose, on purpose. I like doing this way. But today I'm gonna tell you more about it. So the true waves. So yeah. So as we start writing the album and bouncing out tracks with the boys, and I think we had a list of like maybe 15 tracks or something. And then, so I think just before the first lockdown happened in 2020, we already had a little list of songs and stuff, and I had a few tracks I'd written, and then lockdown happened, and then at the same time in my family, few people passed away, and actually across the making of the album, quite a few people died. Luckily, it wasn't about COVID. None of them was about COVID, actually. But counting is probably, I don't know, 6 or 7, or I don't know. But some of them were like really important people for me. And the first one would be my granddad, because he's like the name Pallagrosi. He was the boss of the family, if we can say. He was the one leading the family basically, and yeah, he passed away. I was actually down in south of France when it happened, and I was playing a drum demonstration, and I just went in and did the drum demonstration anyway. And then after that demo, I just left south of France, stopped where my family is, like around Lyon, and went to the funeral. And then after that, I picked up Olivier, and then we went to London because we had our tour for Theatre starting, and we did 2 gigs, and that was it. And then after lockdown happened, and then everything else was cancelled. So already it's kind of starting like very intense for me. Obviously, I did these 2 gigs. The first, at the Robin, the gig I did was basically the day after we buried my granddad. So yeah, and then lockdown happened, and then we just went. Everyone went home, and then we started writing basically. And that's kind of probably why I wanted to write myself as well, because I had like personal feelings and stuff I wanted to do. And so yeah, as I'm writing this album, as we're doing it and all together and stuff, I start seeing those shapes. So that's the concept that's coming. So I start seeing the shapes dancing around me and stuff. And actually, I was seated here most of the time on this laptop, and yeah. So, and then no long after, we added these photos, which are my granddad and my grandmother, um, and um, and so I'm sitting here, and then I write the songs, I produce the songs, and then we do the calls that you're gonna see on the other episodes and stuff from here. And then very often at this time of the day, which is like now around midnight, that's where I start doing the lyrics, when it's all calm, all babies are sleeping, and I'm on my own, and I like this atmosphere to write. So yeah, that's when I start seeing the shapes going around, and the concept kind of like coming. So I'm just going to do it in orders. Obviously, everything is not about people dying. Obviously, so the first one is Truewaves. Obviously, this is only the kind of like concept said by John Mitchell, and that's it. So then Untenable. So Untenable started from like awkward situation. Once I started having these images, obviously, that started in the song Close, which I'll talk later on. Then I had this kind of ideas like when I was going in, in my life, going to work or going in town, going on the metro and stuff, and then I was imagining my concept and seeing how can I represent all of those true waves around me and stuff. And then yeah, one of the first ones so in the album is Untenable. So Untenable is the when you like, how can I explain, when you kind of like fell out with someone. So that can be like anything. That can be breaking up with an ex or a girlfriend or boyfriend, and that can be best friend. That can be family. Anyone that you'd be very close with, and then suddenly something happened, and then unfortunately, then you're not friend anymore, or you just don't talk to each other. And then, but like the thing is, when this happened, and then you happen to be in the same room as these people, and then that's where I was seeing that Truewaves, which is like that little evil character, just like on my shoulder, making fun of me, because it's always so awkward, that situation when you just hear, and then there's all the people that know that there's something wrong going on between you two and stuff, and you there, and you hide yourself, and yeah. So actually, I have I'm gonna do this properly. I have I'm gonna share, so you don't see my face all along. So this is the lyrics. I think you should see. Yeah, you should see it. Hang on. Yeah. So it's untenable. So yeah, it starts with like untenable. Untenable in French is actually a little play with word here, because untenable, it might not mean the exact same thing in English than French. But that's something that is like that you can't control. Basically, is always there, isn't it? So especially here, so I'm unexpected, obviously, because like you just don't see it coming when this is happening, and then I meet you there, and I'm there. I was unpredicted. You infected. He's here. Oh my goodness, he's gonna bother me. This little character. So, and then yeah, hear them talk to friends and so around. So yeah, that's kind of it, basically, untenable. So I'll stick with this. Then amused. So amused is kind of the joy. By the way, when I write the lyrics, I write it like this. I'm on the Google Drive of the band, and I have like Words document that I always go in Google Drive and I write them straight there. So you basically write into the same way I'm doing it, same time and stuff. So yeah, so I do it this way actually, so the boys can check at any time when I read the lyrics and I'm like, oh, I've done this one, you can go and check, and then so they have access to it. Anyway, so yeah, Amused. So Amused is one of my oldest memories. Amused is the joy, basically. That Truewaves would be the joy, basically, the little fun that you have when you're a kid. And I first played. This is me. I remember basically when I was a kid having the cassette of the first Toto album, the white. It was white. I remember that. And then I had like a little like a little player. My dad, it was my dad's, that he was using to when he was going to work, and then I was just like remember being in a garden of my home, just like putting it on, and then so basically all the lyrics here are pretty much all taken from Toto songs. Not really this actually, but more like around all this turning back. So from the album Turn Back, The Past to Present. This is another album. So this I'm just explaining the amusement, but then all of these chains. There's a song called These Chains. There's a song called 99. Push Me Over also is also in a song in the album Tambu, Isolation. Anyway, if you're a Toto fan, you will see this. This is Eloise actually that did that. I left it. I thought it was fun. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for Amuse. It's quite short. I would like to do maybe later on, because it's quite a banging tune. Olivier sent it and I didn't really touch it. I just added the lyrics on it. And I would like to do a follow-up this song at some point. Might do that, I don't know, for the next album. Space Eater. So when I explain Space Eater, it's the one where everyone looks at me like he's a bit crazy, this one. The Space Eater is about the brain stimulation. I am a drummer, so yeah. When I play music, I use my four members, and then I do like complicated. I like practicing at least complicated stuff, and where each members of the body are playing something different and stuff. And when I start doing this kind of things, I can feel that my brain is working. I don't know, and that's why it's really strange, because I feel it's almost like I feel my brain. I feel the muscles of my brain, and I feel that when I read a book for like a long period of time, let's say if I just start and I've been reading for an hour or something, then I can feel my brain. So it's about that. It's about a little Truewave that would be in my head, jumping around and having fun while I do all these things and try to use my brain. So that's about that. It's stimulation, I would say. Yeah. So that's why it's quite up tempo, that song actually. It fits the tune. And that's the same Olivier Senda, and I don't think I've touched it much. So yeah, this one. So this one is actually Leaving Behind is then one song for my grandmother's actually, but not only. So you probably noticed that I've done a kind of a playroom where it says it's about people that have been left behind, but they have to leave behind. So if I say my grandmother's is obviously when my granddad, so my first granddad passed away a long time ago. But it was just kind of the same thing. And then obviously my granddad passed away in 2020, beginning 2020. And then I was just imagining my grandmother going home after over 50 years of marriage, and then like that's exactly it. The first sentence, walking through the front door, should be systematic. That should be something simple, but I've done it a million times, and then suddenly it's really hard to just go through the front door because the other half is not there anymore. So I was just thinking about her when I wrote this, and unfortunately, these kind of things happen where it wasn't the case, but like you kind of feel like almost the person left behind is kind of like letting go, and that's also a little bit about that, this song, where what's that? Hang on, where's the problem? It's not. Oh yeah, so here when I say I'm only love, so you basically don't want to eat, just want to have water, and then obviously that worries everyone in the family, so that's why she would then create a buzz and stuff, and then all she wants to do is just to go and see her husband again. So yeah, that was it, and then that's where the subtleties are, or at least they start to appear, and I think actually they are in the other lyrics, where to make it follow the concept, I don't say he was here. I say it was here because it is a Truewaves, isn't it? So it's not human, is a thing. So that's where these little subtleties in the lyrics that you could find anywhere in all songs would make it like we're not talking about a person, but we're talking about an object that is representing that person. So yeah, that's it for Leaving Behind. I wrote this one. I was quite proud. Obviously, you can feel my influence of all the Beatles tracks and stuff. It was really nice to send it to Olivier. He made it much better than my demo. And then I did the drums like Beatles style with like one on the left, one on the right. Anyway, I'll probably do a video about production at some point. Above the Wheels is about determination. So like wanting to succeed, that little character that would be behind you and pushing you to do things. This song the lyrics come from a book that I've read about the Wright brothers. They're the two brothers that created the planes, basically. And it's I just found that book amazing. I should have taken it actually to show it, but yeah, is this one. Not that I want to advertise Amazon that much, but yeah. So this book is this song is all about this book. I just found it fascinating. I really recommend it. It's amazing. And it's basically because they just keep failing constantly. They just keep and then sometimes risking their lives of doing it. And then if I want to compare it to the concept of the album, that would be like someone that will always push them regardless or help them up when they fall. And then, yeah, so everything is about machines and stuff. So it's basically, let's get this up in the air. Negotiations begins because there were other parties that were also trying to create planes and stuff, but they were doing it ahead of everyone. Metal or human brains. I think that at some point one of the brothers is risking his life really badly. So yeah, that was it. Read this book, really good. And what we have after Close. So yeah, so Close is obviously where kind of like this the concept started. So Close, Olivier sent that track. It was one of the first one he sent actually, and I think that stayed pretty much as it was, and that's the reference of TVs and stuff I talk about in Leaving Behind. That TV is a channel called Rayun that my granddad used to listen to a lot. So that's that little Italian spoken thing we hear at some point in track is an interview of that program. And So close, yeah. So it's basically you hear about closers. That's exactly where the concept started because I was here, sitting here, and then I could see the photo behind me, and then just like I was writing those lyrics, and then he's gone. I felt that he was close, and then especially like at this moment, the whole family got together. We created a chat online, and we were all talking to each other, which like I mean, like we message each other, but never in the massive chat with everyone, and that kind of like brought us all together for a few months, and I thought that was amazing. That's why I'm saying kind of leading us all and all these kind of things, and yeah, and then there's some bits where I talk about Thousand Eyes. So that's when he passed away. As I was saying earlier, when I went to the funeral, I was asked to do a speech, which was one of the hardest things I've had to do in my life. But yeah, I just stepped up and yeah, and then Haley told me, don't look down, and you know, don't look at the people, just focus on what you want to say. And that's her basically, and that's why this song is quite intense for me, because it's her singing it, and then she is the one that told me those lyrics. um so yeah, that was it. So like it took me a while to not get emotional when I listened to this song, but yeah, it's a lovely song. I really love it. And yeah, that's it. After that, as I hear them whistling, there's a great story about this song. So first of all, in this song, I wanted to have all the singers singing it. Unfortunately, the girls Magda and Miranda, they couldn't make it. They just too busy because they signed with EMG, if I'm not being wrong, or Sony. I can't remember. EMG, I think. And they were just too busy going back and forth in Sweden and from Italy and stuff to their new records and stuff. So they couldn't make it. So, but apart from them, everyone sang on it. And this is again my granddad telling me a story of when he was a kid. So this is everyone is like, what are they whistling? What is it you talking about? So basically, this is a war song. When I say I hear them whistling, I'm talking about the bombs falling. So it's the whistle of the bombs and stuff. And those lyrics came from, started at least from a story that my granddad used to always tell me. Is when he was a kid, he was always like going to play and stuff. That was during the war and stuff, but he just couldn't care that it was so dangerous. We could hear the bomb and stuff, but he would just like go and play. Even if his mom is saying, no, don't go, he was just going. And he was telling me the story a few times. He always told me that story. And yeah, I just found that was so amazing. But to add to this, so obviously this is like a nice way of like doing a tribute to him. But like when I sent this, so Gabriel singing this, when I sent it to him, so it took him a little while because he's busy this one, isn't he? But like when he go around to do it, and then he sent me the first recordings of it, that was exactly when the war started in Ukraine, which is as I'm recording this a year ago now. Yeah, so he sent it, and then the war in Ukraine happened, and then I got the recording of Gabriel, and then I put it in a track, and then I listened to it, and obviously because it's amazing and stuff, it just took me there, because I was like, is what I'm trying to describe here in the song is actually happening as we speak. I mean, as I'm listening to this, there's probably some kids over there playing and stuff. So that made it even more intense to me and even more important. So yeah, lovely violin on this song actually from Mark's wife. She doesn't want to be She's on us to talk too much about it, but I'll just say it was really amazing what she did. And then yeah, the rest of the song is all about pretty much this what I was saying earlier, and then kind of like so like so this one, it would be few Truewaves, obviously, because it's such a long song. So the first one is like the little character that goes like, no, come, let's go and play, like a little naughty character kind of thing. And then after that is the ambition of like wanting to move from a country to another. So that I relate to that, obviously. But that's why my grandparents did. They moved to Italy, from Italy to France, and that's kind of what I'm talking about in this song, basically. Building a home and all these kind of things where it's hit me up, beat me up. So that's my granddad talking about when I was a kid. I was doing boxing and stuff. So I was kind of doing a reference to this. We are going on a long journey, so that's, you know, moving to another country, traveling and stuff, building a new home up here, blah blah blah. And yeah, that's it really. So that's kind of like, yeah, so that's kind of like, so I think that there are some I can't even find them, but there are some little hints that would turn back to Truewaves, where I'm not talking about person, but talking about theme. Yeah. So this is it actually. So the last song is N Waves, so it's kind of to finish the album with the same backing as beginning, but John Mitchell is saying something differently, and then he ends up as you will know when you listen. But the other thing I wanted to say is quite important, because I always see concept as a whole. So like when I make an album, I make it as a one thing. I don't make few songs. I make a one thing. I try to everything that is true. It's quite, if you go deep into Flower Terrania, for example, hang on, let me get rid of this. When you go deep into Flower Terrania, there's a lot of hint to other songs and stuff. So I always see the whole album as a one thing. That's quite important for me. And for this is the same. And I even went further in terms of like the visual. So that's what I wanted to finish with, the visual. So like it's always the same actress or artist or gymnast or however you want to call it. So it's Joanna, which I've met when I was when I moved to the UK, like probably in the first year when I moved in the UK. So that's a long time ago, 10 years ago. She was the best friend of one of my flatmates at the time. We kind of met, but like no, like really. Well, we added each other on Facebook and this kind of things. You know, I always followed her for many years. And then when I saw what she was doing with the aerial hoops, I was like, this is just amazing. I need to work with her one day. And then yeah, so when I had the concept coming through, when I had all those ideas of like the waves going around and all of these things, that's where I had this idea. I was like, for a few reasons. First of all, we're still in lockdown, and in lockdown we can't really get all everyone. It was complicated to get together, especially when we're like in different countries and stuff. So to do the videos and all these kind of things, it just makes it too complicated. So I was thinking, if we just get like one person that does everything, which would be Joanna, and then so obviously when I started to get in touch with her, which actually you would have seen by now on the second episode, and there would be more with her. So when we started working together, so obviously I called her to do the aerial hoop, and then slowly when I was talking with her and then seeing what she was doing, she's basically doing a lot of things. She's mega talented, and I was thinking the Truewaves, so we can go like crazy in animation and all these kind of things. But I was thinking maybe, how about instead of doing too much sci-fi, make it a little classier, and then the true wave would be basically a person. So it would be her. She's going to represent all the true waves. So other than doing like visual effects, is her basically. So that's why in the first video close, she's already doing kind of like different looks and stuff, because she would then probably represent different true waves. So yeah, I thought that was cool. So especially some singers, for example, well, I'm not going to say the names actually. Some singers didn't want to be in the videos, which I understand, you know, because it's not their band, and so I appreciate they don't want to do the videos. So I was like, instead of like getting the singers to film themselves, we're just going to film her. So that's what she does in Untenable. So she's just like singing herself. So because she's the True Waves, it makes sense that the True Waves is actually singing the lyrics. And same in Untenable, then she would play different characters, because there's like the nice little True Waves that are saying it's going to be fine, and then there's the True Waves that is making fun of me, like I explained earlier. So that's it, really. I think I talk about everything. Yeah, I think this is it. So I hope this will help to understand more the concept of the album. If you have any questions, you can just message me. I'm happy to send the lyrics as well if you want to read them. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you later, and bye bye. Take care.